Live from News Channel 3, the desert's news leader, this is a First Alert Weather Alert.
We are flooded.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Peter Dowd, and like he just said, we're tracking major flooding across the desert as we're seeing the fallout from Hilary. Both Palm Springs and Indio have declared states of emergency. And right now, the 10 freeway is shut down between Gene Autry and Bob Hope. There's no word tonight on when officials will be able to open the freeway. And take a look at this. New video into the newsroom shows a sinkhole near Southwest Church. The city of La Quinta says that a CVWD sewer broke there, and this is near Washington and Fred Waring. Our live team coverage of the fallout from the storm continues. Our Miriam Bouchot is live in Palm Springs, and we'll check in with her in just a moment. But coverage begins with First Alert meteorologist Kelly Moody. Kelly, desert residents certainly have seen torrential rain turn roads into rivers. What are your biggest concerns overnight?
My biggest concern of all is going to be flooding. We are going to continue to see that flooding as we head into Monday because of all the runoff from our area mountains. We've really been trying to emphasize this, that even after the rain has stopped falling, we are still going to be working with plenty of flooding, and it could take us a couple days to really clean things up. I want to give you a quick update here. I just messaged National Weather Service to see if we have an update on the timing of our flash flood warning. As soon as I get that update, I'll make sure to communicate it to you. But as of right now, we're still working with that 11:30 out time for our current flash flood warning, but I will not be surprised if this gets extended simply because we've still got a good trail of moisture feeding into the showers that we're seeing cross through our area. I do expect this to continue to taper overnight. You might run into those pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall, but generally speaking, we're just seeing widespread light rainfall that's continuing to cross through our area. It should be getting a bit more patchy in the next couple of hours. We've seen a dramatic decline in our overall wind speeds right now, between 15 and 25 mile per hour peak wind gusts for some spots, a little bit stronger out toward Mecca, but we are going to continue to watch these winds weaken. These are the least of my concerns as we're heading into the overnight hours, as we expect to be back to calm conditions as we look ahead toward tomorrow morning. So again, expecting light, at times moderate to heavy rainfall in little pockets, but things should continue to taper in the overnight hours. Winds will continue to weaken. What will not go away will be the threat of flooding as we continue into the next couple of days. We've got the rain already on the ground here locally, but there's more to come down from our mountains as things continue to run off. So that's what we'll be monitoring over the next couple of days.
All right, Kelly, thanks. We have some important breaking news to share with you tonight. Multiple cities have just reported their 911 lines are out. Palm Springs PD, Cathedral City PD, and most recently Indio PD are all reporting outages. Right now, they are all currently working to get those lines back up as soon as possible during this crucial time. But in the meantime, on your screen are the numbers you can call if you have an emergency, should you require police or a fire response. For PSPD, 760-327-1441, Cathedral City PD, 760-770-0303, and Indio PD, 760-775-3730. Our reporters have been out on patrol all day across the valley, reporting on dangerous conditions that residents have been facing. This video is just in of some of the scenes from Palm Springs, where a state of local emergency was declared due to the flooding and at least one swiftwater rescue there. Our Miriam Bouchot has been in the West Valley all day today, and she now joins us in Palm Springs near El Cielo and Mesquite with our photographer Chris Tarpening. The flooding situation there, Miriam, nearly had you stranded in Araby Cove.
Peter, yeah, it was some really scary moments earlier today in the afternoon where my photographer and I were nearly trapped over there in the cove because the flooded roads started to really get dangerous. Luckily, we got out safely. And look, Peter, about 30 minutes ago when I checked in with you, this whole part of the road on El Cielo was covered with water, and it's definitely been receding, but look, now we have to deal with debris in the road. I'm gonna have my photographer show you exactly. Look at all of this debris that's just piling up. We still have some water here, but it's definitely going down. And look, this is why we're telling you guys to stay home, because yeah, floodwaters may be receding, but this debris is also seriously dangerous, and with it being dark outside, it is something that you can run into. And here is the resident I talked to earlier and her thoughts on this storm.
It's a little crazy for the desert. Yeah, it's something different for us. We don't get a lot of rain, so we like to kind of look around and see what's going on.
And Peter, I just want to show you here just how powerful the floodwaters here were earlier. Just look at this concrete barrier that was knocked down. This is just one of many over here off of El Cielo Road. So that on top of debris, I mean, you could just tell just how powerful the floodwaters were earlier. They're definitely receding, but we have still a lot of water over here in the wash. So definitely dangerous. Stay home, stay safe, and if you can avoid driving, definitely do. Live in Palm Springs, Marian Bouchot, News Channel 3.
All right, Marian, thanks. The conditions brought on by tonight's storm have closed roads throughout the valley tonight. And right now, an ongoing stoppage continues on the 10 freeway in both directions between Gene Autry and Bob Hope. The CHP says this is all due to flooding. The backup is now causing major delays around the Bob Hope exit and Varner Road. On surface roads, there are just too many closures for us to list. But some of the major closures we are tracking tonight include Highway 111 between Grace and Jackson in Indio, Dinah Shore Bridge from Palm Springs to Cathedral City, Fred Waring between California and Tennessee and Palm Desert. So if you can, stay off the roads completely tonight. You can find the full list of closures on KESQ.com. And in the East Valley, many roads are still underwater tonight. We know an evacuation warning is still in place near the Salton Sea. Many flooded areas like Avenue 48 and Old Highway 86 caused problems for drivers today. In some areas, drivers going against official recommendations of not driving through water. Several cars were stalled, but thankfully they were rescued by the help of good people. Residents near Avenue 48 saw how quickly the water rose, and they're hopeful their homes will not be impacted.
We won't be able to get out of the house because it's raining bad. I'm concerned it will get water inside the house.
Yeah, that concern shared by many people. The city of Coachella has closed a number of roads, among them Avenue 50 at the Whitewater Wash, Avenue 48 in Cielo, Victoria, and Avenue 52 near Education Way. Tonight, residents in Desert Hot Springs, like most of the valley, say they are seeing intense flooding in their city. You can see rushing water moving down various streets throughout Desert Hot Springs. One person we spoke with says he has been putting sandbags up all weekend to try to protect his home.
I'm scared because the water can go inside my house and damage everything, and I don't know how would I do it if that would happen. This storm is one of the I already lived before. Like every year, this kind of rain hits on this street, and as you can see right there, there is a lake right there.
Also in Desert Hot Springs, we found a store owner keeping his doors open to help his neighbors. Owner Rodolfo Madrigal says as the rain continues to come down, residents have been coming together at Mi Ranchito to grab anything they need. He says he's never seen weather like this before.
The doors are open for anybody passing by. If they need help, they can come inside.
Very nice. Madrigal plans to open again tomorrow, 8 in the morning to 8 at night. A reminder, if you need to evacuate during this storm, there are 2 shelters available in Riverside County. One at Desert Mirage High School on 66th Avenue in Thermal. The other is at the Banning Community Center on North San Gorgonio Avenue in Banning. You can find more resources and a link to sign up for emergency alerts right now at KESQ.com. Our complete coverage of the storm continues tonight. Take a look at this video from the Salton City. Heavy flooding in that area. And you can help us keep the valley informed by sending us your photos and videos to share at KESQ.com. You can also find up-to-the-minute developments on flooding, road closures, and evacuation warnings on our website. You're watching the Desert's News Leader. Conditions brought by Hilary have resulted in power outages all throughout the day in just about every city here in the Coachella Valley. Take a look. Though it's a little dark, this was the scene tonight in Thousand Palms where the power went down near Varner and Ramon. Employees at the In-N-Out found their way around with flashlights. And this was just one of many outages affecting customers in Thousand Palms, 370 to be exact. Other outages include 618 customers in Indio, 489 in La Quinta, and 547 in Thermal. Tonight, Eisenhower Health is reporting its staff and patients are safe after floodwaters surrounded the hospital earlier today. This photo was taken earlier at the entrance to the emergency room, which you can see was completely swamped. The golf cart there nearly up to the seats in water. Despite reports of leaking operating rooms, Eisenhower has since reported patient care was not affected. We're now getting a look at some of the damage left behind by the storm. Take a look at this video sent into the newsroom from Palm Desert. You can see it looks like trees toppled down, chairs as well. A lot of damage to this person's yard. A reminder to share your photos and videos by sending them to share@kesq.com and help us keep the valley informed. Kelly.
As we head into the overnight hours, we will likely see rain taper, winds weaken, but the extreme flooding will be left behind. I expect that to continue to cause all sorts of issues with road closures and business closures. I'll have a look at how we expect things to mellow out in the overnight hours, but what will be left behind coming up after the break. You're watching News Channel 3, the Desert's news leader.
And our live coverage continues tonight of storm conditions in the West Coachella Valley that have led to some harrowing scenes. News Channel 3's Miriam Bouchot is live on the scene in Palm Springs, monitoring some of the residual damage after today's tropical storm peaked in intensity just earlier today. Marion?
Peter, yeah, it's starting to rain a little more over here. The winds have definitely died down, but it's still starting to come down, at least rain-wise. And look, the floodwaters have died down over here on El Cielo Road near Mesquite, at least on the roadway. But look, underneath the road here on El Cielo, you can see the water just going through this wash. I'll pan over, you can see with the flashlight. You can see it's moving really, really fast. And about an hour ago, the road that we're on was completely covered in water, and I had the chance to talk to a few residents earlier today about their thoughts on this storm.
Surprising. We didn't think it was actually going to happen. We thought it was kind of break off once it got to the desert. We were kind of ready for it. I mean,
What do you think of these winds?
they're strong. They're strong. You got to hold your hats.
Now, Peter, even though the floodwaters may be receding in some of these roadways, now we have to deal with debris. So this is a good example of the dangers that now we are going to be dealing with. I'll pan over here. We have big branches, and this is something that's really dangerous for drivers because, yeah, a driver can go through, but if they're not careful, they can hit their car at any of these big branches. So it's definitely important to stay home if you can and not get on these roadways. Live in Palm Springs, Miriam Bouchot, News Channel 3.
All right, Marion, thanks. Now to Hilary's impact on flights in and out of Palm Springs International Airport. Tonight, more flights are back on track, but there are still some cancellations and delays. This is an improvement from earlier today when most flights in and out of Palm Springs were canceled. News Channel 3's Bianca Ventura spoke with passengers who had to postpone their plans because of the storm.
So it's been very
frustrating
and difficult.
Yeah.
Hilary is making it difficult for passengers in and out of Palm Springs International Airport, like Nick and Robin Kloosterhoff.
As we saw, almost everything just was canceled for today.
The couple scrambling to make accommodations after receiving a cancellation notification.
So when you're sleeping for your flight the next day, a 1 o'clock in the morning email is not a very good way to be communicating.
An empty TSA line while some passengers wait until Tuesday to reschedule their flights. The Kloosterhoffs are some of those passengers, extending their stay in Palm Desert for 2 days until they can fly back home to Canada.
And we were just told there's nothing available. And then I asked, well, what would we do for food and lodging? And they just said you can try to make a claim.
Braden Brinkhurst, on the other hand, had better luck.
And I show up and on the screen there's 2 flights that say on time. Everything else is canceled.
His flight to Salt Lake City, Utah was still set to depart Sunday afternoon. Brinkhurst says he was in the Big Bear area for a mountain biking competition.
But the race ended up going off great and it was amazing. And now it's just travel day, so I'm not too bummed about it.
With backup plan in mind, he figured he'd give his flight a go.
Yeah, I just want to get back. But if I need to wait because the weather's too gnarly, it's better to be safe than sorry.
In Palm Springs, Bianca Ventura, News Channel 3.
Better safe than sorry has been the motto of the day. We are continuing to track what is now just the remnants, really, of Hilary. Still seeing a couple pockets of some moderate rainfall crossing over Highway 74, as well as right over 62. But otherwise, we're looking mostly at just some widespread rain continuing to pass through the Coachella Valley. As of now, we are still with that 11:30 out time on the flash flood warning. Again, if that does get extended by the National Weather Service, you will likely receive an alert, and we will continue to keep you updated here as well. As we head into the overnight hours, this is what is continuing to stream our direction, but you can see the back end of this. Finally, some pockets of dry air, so I do expect rain to continue to taper as we head into these next few hours. It might take a little bit of time. We might even see a few lingering showers into tomorrow, but it is not looking to be nearly as widespread as what we have experienced for today and even what we're presently experiencing now. Winds have weakened significantly. You saw there, Marion wasn't holding on to her hat quite as tight, but we do still have some spots out in the East Valley, like Mecca, where we've seen gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. Otherwise, it's mostly been ranging between 15 to 25 miles per hour, but definitely a much calmer scene. These are manageable winds. This is something familiar and should not be all too surprising. We can handle this. Winds will continue to weaken as we head into the next several hours. By tomorrow morning, wind is not really expected to be a factor. So generally speaking, I've been able to taper down some of our severe weather threats. I don't anticipate any more extreme winds, but it will at the bare minimum stay breezy with the occasional stronger gust rolling on through. I also do not anticipate that we'll be seeing any signs of tornadoes heading into these overnight hours, but again, it's always something that we will monitor for given the current conditions. Heavy rain, again, unlikely except in quick pockets that should weaken pretty quickly as well, so I'm not too concerned about that. All of my concerns sit with our flooding that is expected to remain pretty extreme as we head into tomorrow, because even after that rain has passed, everything comes down from the mountains. I think I'm going to be saying that till I'm blue in the face. I need everyone to feel as if they are prepared to continue to see pretty widespread flooding as we head into the next day or so because of what has yet to make it down our direction, because those mountains come straight through the washes in terms of what we are likely to see on the roadways over the next few days. This should be your last rainfall update of the evening. I got all these numbers right at 11. We are close to 10 inches there at Mount San Jacinto, close to 4 inches in Palm Desert, getting closer to 3.5 inches in Thousand Palms, just above 3 inches in Palm Springs, and right at it, 3 inches for Thermal. We have all seen plenty of rain for today. I think enough to last us for the year. Our first weather alert stays in effect through tomorrow to account for the extreme flooding that is expected to continue. Drier, calmer, and much warmer days are ahead, but of course our focus remains on the conditions that are imminent over the next day or so.
All right, Kelly, thanks. We are expecting to see the continual impacts of flooding over the next several days around the valley. Take a look at this video from the Dune Ponds Bridge project in La Quinta. All the water in that wash. We have a full list of closures of roads on KESQ.com. You're watching the Desert's News Leader. Well, it's no surprise that today's flooding and other dangerous conditions have led to schools closing down tomorrow. The Palm Springs Unified School District and Desert Sands Unified School District have both closed tomorrow. In addition, although classes were not yet in session, the Coachella Valley Unified School District and College of the Desert will also be closing all their facilities. We're also tracking power outages in at least Mecca, Indio, and Cathedral City. If you lose power, you can stream our newscasts online at KESQ.com. All right, Kelly, what are you tracking for the rest of the night?
So we do have an update. The flash flood warning that was in effect for a majority of the valley has expired from the National Weather Service. Should they need to reissue one, they of course will, and you will likely hear those updates on your phone as you have all throughout today. We do still have, just for the next few minutes, that flash flood warning still in place out in the East Valley, but that is also set to expire at 11:30. Again, we've been monitoring a couple pockets there along Highway 74 of some heavier rainfall, but generally speaking, what we've been seeing across the valley has been light to moderate rain, some quick pockets that get heavy for a second and then lighten up, and that is likely to continue as we head into the overnight hours until this rain tapers off heading into early tomorrow morning. Winds are no longer a very big concern of mine, but I figured we'd still take a look at our most current wind gusts. You can see spots around the mid-valley or so are ranging from 15 to 25 mile per hour peak wind gusts. Finally got out of that 30+ mile per hour range out in Mecca. Looks like we're starting to see winds go on the decline there. As anticipated, these winds have shifted up a little bit higher toward impacting areas like Yucca Valley, where we've got gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. Areas west of the valley have certainly mellowed out, so winds are weakening. Rain will eventually taper, and it's just the flooding left behind that we continue to have to work with. We've said it all day long. If you can avoid being on the roads, please do. We are continuing to monitor all of those closures between businesses, city offices, and roads. We'll have it all online at KESQ.com.
A lot going on. All right. Thanks, Kelly. That does it for us for this edition of News Channel 3. A reminder again that PSUSD and DSUSD have canceled classes for tomorrow. Help us keep the Valley informed by sending us your photos and videos to share at KESQ.com as we track the fallout from this storm. Be safe, everybody. Have a good night.
News Channel 3 is now available on any of these streaming services and on KESQ.com.